Community. This is a live signal from Beijing. Let's listen.
2018年1到6月，全国吸收外资的
From January to June, the intake of foreign investment has the following features. The first one, we have a rapid growing of the new established enterprises, and we have an increase of the intake of the foreign investment. And we have 29,591 newly established foreign invested companies. And the use of capital is around 446 billion RMB. And it is around 68.2 billion US dollars. And we have established 5,565 new foreign invested companies. And we have a 0.3% increase of the use of foreign capital. And this is up by 52.8%. The second feature is that we still see a high development of the high-tech companies. And the use of foreign capital has increased by 14.3%. And for the high-tech industries, the use of foreign capital has increased by 1.6%. And for the manufacturing industry of the high technology, we see a 25.3% year-over-year growth. And for the telecom companies and the medical instruments, we see a 37.1% increase and a 176% increase respectively. And the high technology enterprises has been used 5.3 million US dollars. And the third feature is that we see the leading function of the free trade zones, and we also see some rapid development of the Western region. And we have 4,281 newly established foreign invested companies in the free trade zone, and which has a 32.6% increase. The actual use of foreign investments is around 22 billion RMB. And the fourth feature is that for the source of the investment, we see a good momentum from the investment of the United States, Singapore, as well as the Korea. From January to June, the increase of the foreign investment for US, Singapore, Korea, and the UK, we do see a good growth. For the ASEAN countries, the investment has been increased by 14%, and the Belt and Road countries has increased by 24.9% of the foreign investment. And the second information is about the shopping mall index. Today, we have released the 2017 shopping mall index report and the convenience store index. This report has analyzed the future trend of the development of the shopping malls and convenience stores. For the shopping mall index report, it indicated that the index reached 68.1%, 18.5% above the PMI. We see a good momentum and recovery of the shopping mall industry. And the current index has increased by 0.9 percentage points, and the expected index will be reached 75%. And we see a continuing growth of the landlord confidence index for the shopping mall industry. And in the past 2 years, these indexes has above the PMI. The eastern region are leading the other regions, and we also see a recovery of the northeast region. The first-tier cities have a good consumption market. The development index is higher than second and third-tier cities. And we also see some premium international brands emerge in the third-tier cities. And the outlets industry has been leading other kind of business formats. 70% of the landlords hold a positive attitude towards their business. It is estimated that in 2018, the shopping mall industry will continue its steady growth. And the convenience store business climax report shows that in 2018, the quarter index has maintained at a very positive level, which is 21.6% above the PMI. This momentum shows that the business operators have high confidence of the development of the convenience stores. The business climate index is 68%, and the store index is about 66.1%. These two figures are above the PMI. This shows that the business owners have very positive attitude towards their operation. We still see a high increase of the leasing rates and the manpower cost. It is estimated that in 2018, we will see a steady growth of the convenience store. These are the information I would like to release. Now, I would like to take your questions.
Thank you. From the Economic Daily, the U.S. accused China to do the forced technology transfer and stolen their technology. So what's the take from MOFCOM? Thank you. The so-called forced technology transfer or stolen technologies, these go against the history. And this is totally unacceptable. With China's reform and opening up, low-cost labor expense with the cutting-edge international technology development, this all move the China's economy growing faster as well the global economic boost. This is also create a rich and lucrative returns for the foreign invested companies. All these based on the contract, and this is also follow the willingness of Chinese and foreign companies. After the foreign invested companies gained great returns, they accuse China steal their technology results and force them to make the technology transfer. This is go against the fact and history, and also break the contract. So this is not follow the contract spirit. China believes this is really dangerous. This will make the market economy wobbling and also shake the foundation of the market. CMG, continue the questions. So the USTR announced that it accused China because of this industrial policy actually caused the market disorder. What's your take? This is groundless. Any country has their legitimate rights to make development by adopting appropriate industrial policies to boost the industrial development. From the history, the U.S. Treasurer Hamilton, actually, he was the first supporter of industrialization or industrial development. Look at the past. The U.S. also adopted the industrial revolutionary policies and gained a great result. Look at the economic globalization and the faster growth of technology. We oppose the differentiated and protected industrial policy. What we need is the policy that supports development. We touch a great importance to the future development, level the playing field, and also in the higher quality. Thank you. Phoenix TV. We'd like to know the trade war between the China and US. After we all unveil the list, whether we still continue the talks or do we have any plan for resume the talks. If no, it means that we will escalate the frictions, and also for Tesla, we also plan to have the factories in Shanghai. What's the take? For your first question, China actually reiterates that we should base on the mutual trust. This is pre-request. Based on my knowledge, we not contact each other for continuing our talks. You mentioned whether we will escalate the scale of the trade war between the two sides. This depends on the United States. China's attitude towards trade war is consistent and clear-cut. Though we don't want a trade war, but we're not afraid to fight one. And we was forced to fight one. And this is the fight between the protectionism and multilateralism, the unilateralism, and free trade. So the trade war actually is not the answer to the questions, and we will also cause more issues. Around the world, China noticed that there are a lot of the companies, the institutes, think tanks, all express their concerns towards the trade war triggered by the United States. Mentioned about the Tesla's factory in Shanghai, China welcomed Tesla to come to China to establish its factory. This shows the China's result of opening further up and also demonstrate the win-win cooperation between China and the United States. We will continue to make the environment enabling and attractive in order to have more foreign companies making business in China and also achieve the shared opportunity from China's development. Thank you.
你好，是法新社的记者。
From AFP.
公布对中国2000亿价值的。
Yesterday, the United States mentioned they will make a further $200 billion of Chinese imports.
中国打算采取什么
What's
措施？
China's countermeasures?
第二个问题。
And my second question.
中方希望能够跟美国有新一轮贸易。
So does China have any plan to have additional talks
谢谢你的问题。
with the United States? Thank you.
美方采取的这种使贸易战加速升级的做法。
The escalating actions taken by the United States
美方的行动
cause concerns worldwide. The U.S. act
不确定性陷阱
bring the world economy into the trap of
最终
uncertainties.
实施
It is finally materialized.
更多无辜的
It would
企业和
undermine the consumers and the companies, and made a huge impact to the world economy, even brought it to recession. For this trade bullying, China firmly opposes it. We have to take counteractions in order to defend the legitimate and the legal rights of the country and our people, and also uphold the multilateralism and world trading system. As to your second question, I already answered it. Thank you. As I mentioned, we are forced to take countermeasures. Thank you.
谢谢发言人，我是经济参考报的记者。
Thank you. From
有消息称，美国
Economic
将给中国
Reference Daily.
美国公司90天的时间
So they give the 90 days for the U.S. companies, the 90 days for them free from the tariff actions. So this is good for these companies, but let's have the same tax levied on the other companies. Do you think this is a targeted signals sent to China? The question you mentioned is their internal policy process. I would like to highlight that under the context of globalization, waging a trade war will bring the impact to the global value chain, industrial chain, with full of uncertainties. This will impact the other countries, will also hurt the United States companies and its people for sure. To safeguard a global industrial chain and the value chain is the only correct choice.
谢谢发言人。总台央广经济之声记者提问。
Thank you from CMG,
周二的时候
Voice of
美国贸易代
Economy.
表莱特希泽在声明中
On
表示，
Tuesday,
中国对美方产品
Lighthizer has stated that
征关税的反制措施是没有任何
China has taken countermeasures, which is groundless.
谢谢。
And for his accusation, what is your response? Thank you for your question. I believe all of us very clear that this is a robbery behavior. First of all, China is working against the rule of the WTO. U.S. taken the unilateral move. This is a behavior which shows the unilateralism and protectionism, so the U.S. action is groundless. China will safeguard the interest of our nation and our people, and we will also uphold the multilateral trading system. That's why we are forced to take countermeasures and launch the protest to WTO. This is abide by the law of the international rules. U.S. is violating the rules. However, they are accusing China. We think we all understand the reasons behind it.
谢谢发言人。中新社记者提问：我们
This is from China News Service. We have realized that for the first half of the year, the export to U.S. has reduced by 13%. My question is that does the trade friction will reduce China's export to the United States? So even though China has slowed down the growth rate for the exportation to the United States, however, China is still enjoying a surplus. I want to further understand your position on that. Thank you for your question. With the optimization of the structure of the economy, We do see some decrease in the growth rate for the export to US. We have also seen the GDP that we have gained from the United States has been reduced down to 1.4%, but we still see a favorable surplus between China and the United States. We have to find the root causes from the side of the United States. The US has been long taken an export restriction policy. This will have an impact on the reserve of the US dollars. All of these actions will cause the deficit in the United States. The US has working against the economic rules. This is not right for the US economy. The United States has continued to escalate the trade tension, which pose challenge to the cooperation between China and the US. All of these repercussions will be reflected in the second half of the year. We will continue to explore the third-party market and positively address the differences that we are facing right now. At the same time, the Chinese government will, based on the current market, and release countermeasures. Thank you. This is from 21st Century Economic Reports. And for the $34 billion that has been imposed by the United States, 60% are actually products are actually manufactured from the foreign invested companies. So does that affect the supply chain in China? Thank you for your question. For the tariff action that was taken by the United States, indeed, it will have an impact on the US companies that are working in the Chinese market. We hope the US companies work actively with their government to protect their legitimate rights. China has a huge and potential market. We continue to open up our consumption market. Recently, as far as we know, the GE, Tesla, and BMW, they are continue to expand their capacity and investment in Chinese market. We will continue to improve the business environment in China and protect the rights of foreign invested companies. And we are bound to develop China into the best investment destination for foreign companies. Thank you. This is from a Russian media. My question is that from the 9th and the 12th of July, there is a China-Russian export happening in Russia. So what is your comment on that? And last week, Premier Li Keqiang has also attended the China CEC summit and paid a state visit to Germany. So what's your comments on this visit from Premier Li? Thank you. Regarding your first question, the China-Russian Expo, it's a most high-level export that was happened in Russia, and it is a showcase of the achievement from China and Russia. There were three features for this expo. First of all, we see more and more companies participating in this expo. There were over 200 companies from 15 provinces in China attending this export, and in total there were 2,100 participants in this export. And for Russia, there were also more than 20 provinces attending this export. And the total size of the export is around 8,500 square meters, and China has taken up 5,500 square meters. And we are demonstrating the achievements of agriculture and high technology. And for Russia, they have demonstrated their achievements in the manufacturing and the industry production. And this export has reflects the highest level of technology of these two countries. And also, in the area of cross-border transaction and the financial services, there were around 14 activities organized in this regard. And also, we hosted the first China-Russia forum. There were over 200 entrepreneurs participated in the local format for the China-Russia Summit. So all of these officials has formed discussions in the area of scientific development and the infrastructure development. This forum has established a bridge and platform for the mutual cooperation. And earlier, the leaders of two countries is discussing to host an annual event for the achievement and exhibition. We want Chinese government to work together with the Russian government to organize this kind of mutually beneficial activities in order to bring real benefits to the people and the two countries. Regarding your second question about Premier Li's visit to Germany, during Premier Li Keqiang's visit to Germany, we have reached a lot of consensus in the economic and the trade area. First, both countries are firmly against the protectionism. We uphold the free trade mechanism, and we hope the cooperation will be formed between China and the CEE countries. Second, both countries agree to further the development and the promotion of the economy and trade. Germany will become the host, one of the hosts for the import-export exhibition that will be held in China this year. Third, under the multilateral trading system, both sides will maintain a close tie and to develop a financing platform for two countries. And fourth, China and Germany will continue to develop the third-party companies and start the 401 industry cooperation. During the visit, the agreement that has been signed has reached over 30 billion RMB. This covered the range of motor vehicles. For the two countries, it will jointly establish the automobile center, and a lot of other strategic cooperation will be reached between the two countries. Hopefully, the two countries can complement with each other and boost the common development. Also, we see a deepening cooperation in the industry manufacturing area between China and Germany. We believe with the joint efforts, the economic and trade cooperation between the two countries will reach a new high.
Thank you. From CBN. We know right now we enter to the new phase of trade war. U.S. unveiled an additional 200 billion list. And also the impact a process order to the WTO. So what's China's countermeasures to help the Chinese companies and mitigate their loss? Thank you. For the United States acts or their potential acts, we will continue to access the losses triggered by the trade war and will also take targeted measures. We encourage the company to adjust their import structures and also find new markets and also dig the consumption market in China, and also they, according to the requirement of high quality development and consumers' needs, we hope the companies can make the challenges as there are also opportunities to upgrade their industrial structures, market structures, investment structures. And we help the companies to train their staffs. All in all, we have more measures than difficulties.
Thank
you, CCTV2. We noticed the delegate led by Chicago mayor visited China. So what's the significance behind? Thank you. In order to celebrate the investment cooperation group formed 5 years, the mayor of Chicago led a large group of delegates to China. More than 50 entrepreneurs paid a visit to China, and they signed the 5 years of industrial cooperation from 2018 to 2023. And they signed this with 8 Chinese cities, and this is laid a solid foundation for the bilateral economic cooperation, and this also draw the blueprint for the future development. In the recent years, Chicago attached great importance to the economic development between both sides. From 2011, Chicago actually has become the destination or the first stop for the Chinese enterprise going abroad. For Bank of China or Lenovo and other 60 companies, they bring the overseas home to Chicago and always joined a very good result in terms of business. In the United States, actually, there are many cities like Chicago willing to enlarge the cooperation with China. In the recent years, MOFCOM, with 25 provincial authorities, built the bridges with the United States and to establish these working groups for a closer relationship between the country levels. It should also bring the closer connection between its people, and this is also lay a solid foundation for future development for both sides.
谢谢发言人。第一财经日报记者提问：7月11号，就是日内瓦时间的7月11号 ，WTO 开始对中国进行新的贸易政策审议。在这个审议上，有些成员国说中国有重商主义的。
The other countries criticize that China attach more significance on business. What's your take? certain members should not look at China through a biased view, and also do not bring the different titles on China with outdated mindset. Over these years, China always abide by the WTO rules and regulations, and we paid our responsibilities as a good member. So we will continue to follow and let the market make its role in resource allocation. We will also make our endeavor to further opening up and also to witness the win-win cooperation and development with all members. Due to the interest of time, one last question. Thank you from Macau. The third meeting of fully reform and opening up is issued the documents regarding to the promoting the consumptions and funding more the potential of consumption. And the reports saying that China may be the first largest consumption market. So what's your take on that? And what's our action to further enlarge the consumption market? Thank you. China had a 1.4 billion populations. This is a huge market, and people's evergreen needs for a better life is keeping increasing. And the consumption to GDP, the proportion is 58.8%. For Q1 this year, the number reached 77.8%. To enlarging and stimulate the consumption always are one of our key priorities. No matter how change between the China and United States, we will follow our plans and the rhythm. And we'll continue our job to further enlarge the market and stimulate the consumption. We will follow the requirement of high quality development and to convert the trend of interest and people's needs. We will do the following works. Number one, we will provide more convenient consumption service to the people. So we would like to achieve that within 15 minutes, people can do the shoppings near their compound. And we will also establish the high-quality shopping areas, and we'll also cultivate the shopping malls and enlarge our export. We'll utilize the opportunity and platforms such as China Expo to adjust the supply and demand mix. And we will continue to improving the supply chain. We will do more pilot projects in this regard and also establish the high-efficient logistic networks. And number four, we will also establish a safe environment that people can trust. So like the food can be traceable, and we'll also establish the entrusted system. MOFCOM will work with other departments to continue our efforts to upgrade and develop the consumption in a higher and efficient manner. Thank you. This has come to the end of the presser.